The battle over Billboard rankings simply illustrates that we live in a culture of manufactured drama. The recent epic battle between Kendrick Lamar and Drake may have made the harsh diss track popular again, but in the pop world, indirect shade-throwing appears to be the norm. When two of the biggest pop singers alive dispute, and their huge fandoms decipher their insinuations, even subtle or inadvertent slights can become ludicrous. Please support my channel by liking, sharing, comments, and subscribe new videos every day. However, this raises the question of what is and is not genuine. Are Billie Eilish and Taylor Swift actually feuding? From a particular perspective, it appears like Eilish has spent the last few months using her promotional cycle for her new album, Hit Me Hard and Soft, to deliver casual but sharp criticism at Swift. From another perspective, it appears like Swift may have retaliated in her own Swiftian style by releasing additional editions of her new album, Tortured Poets Department, in time to compete with Eilish's release. While Swift's propensity for petty squabbling is so well known that she dedicated a whole album to it, this quarrel is completely out of character for the remarkably laid-back Eilish. However, it appears that Eilish's barely veiled jabs at Swift drew the most attention and stoked the flames. Have we entered an era in which fans will go to any length to create an epic rivalry, even if there is none? Or is the Eilish/Taylor feud, with layered jibes leading to battles waged by fan-base foot soldiers on social media feeds throughout the internet, the new norm for music stars? The Billboard album chart is key to this conflict. Swift's Poets has been at #1 since its April 19th release, and Swifties are determined to keep it there for as long as possible. One way musicians gamify the charts in a highly competitive digital age is to release various album editions, a tactic Swift is well known for. For Poets, she first issued a conventional album, then expanded it to a double album with 30 tracks, and then dropped 3 more surprise, limited-time album versions on May 17th. To Eilish fans, the timing of these 3 new album releases was suspicious. They all came out on the same day as Eilish's own new album, Hit Me. Swifties maintained that the timing was entirely accidental, and that it was just another way to help Swift achieve her objective of keeping her album at #1 for as long as possible. For Eilish fans, who, weirdly enough, do not have a collective name, that answer fell flat. If timing didn't matter, why would Taylor step on Eilish's release date? Especially since they were limited editions, fans only had a short window of opportunity to purchase them, a window in direct rivalry with Eilish. Swift's fans, for their part, were keeping an eye on Eilish's camp. They soon discovered that Eilish's manager, Rukasin, had liked and retweeted, and quickly deleted, a tweet implying that Swift had a long history of intentionally blocking other artists' paths to the top of the chart by strategically dropping her own albums. Because the calendar is restricted, Swift's releases are more likely to be motivated by limited space than by spitting on other artists. And Rukasin may have been motivated by a general disdain of Swift as an artist rather than this specific issue. Fans quickly dug out another instance in which he criticized Swift on social media, fueling enmity between the two sides. Meanwhile, both musicians engaged in a back-and-forth releasing competing extra editions of new songs throughout the week in an attempt to secure the top spot. Swift ultimately held the #1 place, with Eilish coming in second. Of course, all of this could have been attributed to unlucky coincidence, unavoidable competitiveness, and hot emotions rather than beef, nothing that actually rises to the level of a full-fledged, two-way fight. But what fanbase these days lives on the absence of conflict? It's simple to see why neither fandom has abandoned the drama. You don't have to search deep to uncover evidence that the beef is real and that Swift sought to compete with Eilish. That's because Eilish may have harbored long-held enmity towards Swift, resentment that could have begun with another artist entirely. To determine the source of this disaster, we may have to go back to 2022. Damon Albarn, the leader of legendary British bands Blur and Gorillaz, began the year by oddly criticizing Taylor Swift's songwriting skills. In a January interview with the Los Angeles Times, Albarn stated unequivocally that Swift doesn't write her own songs, then went on to say that she doesn't even co-write her own. Taylor Swift's principal claim to fame is her songwriting ability, therefore Albarn's death on this hill was strange, if not openly sexist. But in virtually the same breath, he moved things in an even stranger direction by comparing Swift's music to that of Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas O'Connell, with whom Eilish frequently co-writes. I'm not hating on anyone, I'm simply stating that there is a significant distinction between a songwriter and a songwriter who co-writes. This does not preclude the possibility of a fantastic result. Billie Eilish and her brother are incredibly interesting songwriters. I'm more drawn to that than Taylor Swift. It's just darker, not as cheery. Much more minor and strange. I think she is great. For all we know, the event may have ended there. Albarn apologized to Swift following enormous criticism, blaming the Times for clickbait editing whatever he actually said. However, after a few months, Billie Eilish took things to the next level. During her historic Coachella performance as the youngest headliner in history, Eilish surprised Albarn with a guest appearance.